Nestled deep within the vast expanse of the South Atlantic Ocean, more than 2,000 kilometers away from any other inhabited landmass, lies the rugged and solitary island of Tristan da Cunha. This remote archipelago, under the sovereignty of Britain, is home to a single settlement, a small village that accommodates just over 200 residents. The island's remoteness means that it can only be reached by sea, and even then, only during specific months when weather conditions permit safe passage. The journey to Tristan is no simple voyage. It requires careful planning and resilience, as the island remains largely cut off from the world beyond its rocky shores. The sole inhabited settlement, Georgetown, is a tightly clustered community where all the essentials of daily life are concentrated within a compact area. Here, the houses, narrow roads, and patches of farmland are woven together into a single, interconnected space that sustains the residents. Contact with the outside world is infrequent and limited to occasional supplies arriving from South Africa, alongside whatever can be caught or gathered from the surrounding waters. The island's inhabitants have no regular shops, no official services, and no commercial infrastructure as one might find in more developed regions. Instead, everything is shared communally, with a strong sense of collective organization that ensures the community's survival. People make do with what they have at hand, relying on mutual support and resourcefulness to meet their needs. Life on Tristan da Cunha is a story of endurance and self-sufficiency. Its residents are born on the island, live their entire lives amid its rugged beauty, and grow old without ever setting foot on another land. Living in such profound isolation prompts questions about the nature of community and resilience. What does it mean to forge a life in a place so far removed from the rest of humanity? What secrets does this insular society hold, having never ventured beyond their native shores? To explore these questions and better understand this unique community, let us delve into the history and story of Tristan da Cunha. The origins of Tristan da Cunha trace back to the early 16th century, a period when European explorers were charting the uncharted waters of the Atlantic. The island's first recorded sighting occurred in 1506, when a Portuguese navigator named Tristan da Cunha glimpsed the island from his ship. He marked it on his nautical charts, bestowing upon it his own name, an act that would forever link his legacy to this remote land. For centuries afterward, passing sailors and cartographers included Tristan on their maps, yet few ventured to stop or claim the island. Its isolation and treacherous seas kept it largely untouched and unclaimed, serving as a mere waypoint in the vast ocean rather than a strategic or valuable possession. It was not until the year 1610 that Tristan da Cunha drew the attention of more ambitious explorers, but the most dramatic chapter in its early history unfolded in the year 1810, when a man named Jonathan Lambert from Salem, Massachusetts, arrived on the island with 3 companions. Lambert, an adventurer with grand visions, declared the archipelago his own territory and rechristened it the Reformation Islands. His goal was to establish a free, independent colony, an idealistic dream of self-governance and liberty. He also hinted at the existence of hidden treasures and valuable minerals beneath the island's rugged terrain, although he never produced any proof of such riches. Lambert's ambitions, however, proved fleeting. His dream of an autonomous community was short-lived. Tragically, in 1812, Lambert and 2 of his companions drowned in a storm at sea, leaving only one survivor, Thomas Curry, who chose to remain on the island alone. The island's future remained uncertain until 1816, when British military forces arrived with a different purpose. Their mission was to prevent Tristan from being used as a strategic base to facilitate the rescue of Napoleon Bonaparte, who had been exiled on St. Helena. The British formally occupied the island and incorporated it into their empire, establishing a military presence that would gradually fade but leave behind a legacy of colonial control. Soon after their departure, one of the soldiers, William Glass, expressed a desire to settle permanently on Tristan. Granted permission, he established the first enduring settlement, bringing stability to the island's sparse population. Over time, other individuals, some washed ashore by storms, others arriving from distant colonies like St. Helena, began to join him. Gradually, families formed, and the small community began to take shape. The arrival of women was a significant milestone, allowing the community to grow through natural reproduction and fostering a sense of continuity and stability. Early settlers cultivated the land, building homes from available materials, planting potatoes, raising cattle, and fishing in the surrounding waters. English became the common language, facilitating communication among the residents and with outsiders. Their homes and infrastructure were modest and practical, fashioned from whatever resources could be found or repurposed. The population, though small, steadily increased over the years, largely through shipwreck. In the year 1857, a momentous event unfolded when Henry Ball's ship was tragically wrecked upon the rugged coast of the island. The local inhabitants, witnessing the peril and chaos, swiftly responded by rescuing the distressed crew from the treacherous waters and the shattered vessel. Some of these castaways, after their rescue, chose to remain on the island, their presence gradually blending into the fabric of the local community. These new settlers brought with them their hopes, skills, and stories, and their arrival caused the population to grow modestly. Over time, they began to work side by side with the original inhabitants, forging bonds through shared labor and mutual reliance. This integration into daily life created a seamless rhythm, a harmony of tradition and adaptation that defined their existence. The community's governance was informal and unstructured by written laws or codes. Instead, they relied on collective gatherings, meetings where all participated voluntarily to resolve local issues, make decisions, or settle disputes. These assemblies fostered a sense of shared responsibility, ensuring that every family received support when needed. Resources and tools were shared freely among neighbors, and every able-bodied person engaged in fishing, planting, or harvesting, contributing to the sustenance of the entire community. When visitors arrived, their presence was a matter of community discussion, reflecting the collective nature of their society. Some visitors chose to stay, becoming part of the fabric, while others eventually departed, perhaps seeking different opportunities elsewhere. As generations passed, the once numerous family names gradually condensed into a few prominent lineages: Glass, Ripetta, Lavarella, Green, and Rogers. Today, every inhabitant of the island descends from these founding families, their lineage woven into the island's history. The remoteness of the island helped preserve many of its ancient traditions, passed down through the generations unaltered by outside influences. Houses are constructed simply, using local materials and traditional techniques, embodying practicality and resilience. The roads, maintained by communal effort, serve as arteries of daily life, facilitating movement and connection within the island. Life on Tristan da Cunha unfolds at a leisurely pace, dictated largely by the whims of weather and necessity. The sun rises early, and the day's activities are shaped by the conditions of the sea and land. The most vital pursuit on the island is fishing, which sustains both their diet and economy. Every day, some residents make their way to the pier to check their nets, repair outdated engines, or venture out into the open sea using simple, non-mechanized fishing methods. The vast ocean provides not only food, but also opportunities for trade and exchange, linking the islanders to the wider world in small, meaningful ways. Alongside fishing, the inhabitants tend to their cultivated land, especially growing potatoes, which thrive in the volcanic soil that blankets the island. These gardens are often communal, with families planting crops together in shared plots, taking turns during planting and harvest seasons, and lending a helping hand to each other during busy times. The work is done entirely by hand without the aid of modern fertilizers or machinery, requiring patience and cooperation. The care of animals forms another essential part of daily life. Residents breed cows, sheep, and chickens, providing milk, meat, wool, and eggs. Some individuals milk the cows, others clean the stalls, while still others work to produce cheese or prepare fresh meat, each fulfilling a vital role to meet their community's needs. Within the village, a small bakery operates on a regular schedule, baking bread for all families using a wood-fired oven. The bakers take turns firing the stove, carefully tending the fire with firewood gathered from the surrounding forest. When ingredients are plentiful, they also bake cookies or buns, offering a touch of variety and comfort. Supplies are brought in by sea, often in large quantities, and stored with meticulous care to ensure their availability over many months. A modest workshop stands nearby where residents skillfully repair everything from engines and generators to tools and radios. This self-sufficient approach means that no outside specialists are necessary. Knowledge and skills are passed down through generations, and everyone contributes to maintaining the community's infrastructure. Spare parts are divided among the villagers, and if something essential is needed, it is ordered with the next ship's arrival, ensuring the island's resilience. The education of the island's children takes place in a single classroom, where a local teacher imparts lessons in English, mathematics, geography, and science. Despite the limited resources, the children learn and grow together, their days filled with study, play, and chores. After school, they help their families with household tasks or venture outside to enjoy the open air, playing football, exploring the island's rugged landscape, or inventing their own games in the fresh, unspoiled environment. The absence of reliable internet or cable television means their entertainment is rooted in outdoor activities, fostering creativity and a strong bond with nature. The island's healthcare is provided by a small clinic staffed by the local doctor, who sees patients daily. The doctor treats minor injuries. Throughout the entire week, the residents of Tristan da Cunha gather regularly in informal assemblies where they engage in open discussions about the various issues affecting their community. These meetings serve as a vital forum for sharing concerns, brainstorming solutions, and organizing collective efforts to improve their living conditions. They plan and coordinate a wide range of projects, such as clearing the narrow, winding roads that connect different parts of the island, repairing the roofs of their modest homes that endure the relentless weather, or giving fresh coats of paint to the aging buildings that stand as symbols of their resilience. Everyone actively participates in these endeavors, contributing whatever skills or labor they can offer, and responsibilities are passed smoothly from one individual to another. This sharing of duties is rooted in mutual respect rather than strict hierarchy, fostering a sense of equality and shared purpose among all inhabitants. When it comes to food, the islanders rely heavily on what they can prepare at home from the resources available to them. Their meals are simple yet hearty: potatoes, fish, freshly caught from the surrounding waters, tender lamb or beef, and bread baked daily in a communal oven. They also make good use of canned goods stored from previous shipments. Occasionally, vessels arrive carrying fresh fruits and vegetables from distant lands, bringing a splash of color and variety to their diet. If fresh milk is available, they turn it into homemade butter or jam, adding richness and flavor to their meals. The weekends offer a welcome respite from daily chores. They become days for rest, small gatherings, and celebrations. These gatherings often include singing, playing simple musical instruments, or organizing friendly football matches to enjoy the outdoors. They celebrate birthdays, share news from the mainland, and reinforce the bonds that hold their community together. Every member of this isolated community contributes to the collective well-being, each person playing a role in maintaining their shared way of life. Life on Tristan da Cunha flows in harmony with the unpredictable rhythm of ocean weather and the limited supplies they manage to stockpile. Each task, whether it's repairing a roof, gathering firewood, or tending to the vegetable garden, is carried out with resourcefulness and cooperation, using whatever tools or materials are at hand. The island itself is a remote haven, entirely devoid of an airport and with only an unreliable Wi-Fi connection, which epitomizes its seclusion from the outside world. Situated in the middle of the South Atlantic Ocean, more than 2,000 kilometers away from any continent, Tristan da Cunha's connection to the broader world is minimal and fragile. The only means of reaching or leaving the island is by sea, with no airstrip or runway to facilitate quick travel. All ships that serve the island depart from Cape Town, South Africa, making only about 8 to 10 voyages each year. The journey by sea takes nearly a week, a voyage that hinges heavily on favorable weather conditions and calm seas. These ships are tasked with delivering essential provisions, scientific equipment, technical assistance, medicines, food, fuel, tools, and sometimes even official documents or special supplies, like bones approved for research or ceremonial purposes. Mooring a ship is only possible when the waters are calm. In rough seas, vessels must anchor offshore, and their cargo is transferred to smaller boats that make the perilous journey to shore. The island's mail service operates similarly. Letters and parcels arrive with each shipment, not through an official postal system, but via distribution at the local community center, a modest building that functions as the heart of communication. Depending on the shipping schedule and the time of year, it can sometimes take several months for personal letters or packages to reach their recipients, creating a slow but vital link with the outside world. The island's primary means of communication with the outside is a satellite line, which operates at strictly scheduled times and provides a limited signal. There is a designated point, typically at the community center, where residents can send messages or check their emails. However, the connection is slow and video calls are impossible due to the weak signal. Despite these limitations, this satellite link remains the most reliable method of maintaining contact with family, friends, and authorities beyond the island. For emergencies, a radio station is maintained, serving as a critical lifeline. It keeps regular contact with passing ships and with authorities in South Africa and Britain, ensuring that help can be coordinated swiftly if needed. The radio equipment is checked daily to confirm it functions properly, a routine that becomes especially crucial during storms or in case of urgent medical evacuations. The island also uses the radio to broadcast weather reports, providing vital information on upcoming storms or changing conditions at sea. For more urgent communication, there is a public satellite phone supplied by local authorities, reserved solely for essential calls. Families wishing to contact relatives abroad must schedule their calls in advance, and each conversation is carefully timed and recorded to maintain oversight and security. As for internet access, when the connection is functioning, it is available only at the community center. There, residents can send emails, read the latest news, or manage various online errands, though the slow speed limits what can be accomplished. The internet on the island is notoriously slow, making the loading of social media sites a lengthy process that often results in videos becoming unwatchable due to buffering and delays. Students, however, have found resourceful ways to stay connected with their studies. They frequently gather in small groups to share resources, collaborate on assignments, and make the most efficient use of their limited online time. When it comes to international news, residents rely on shortwave radio broadcasts or traditional mail services, which can be delayed by weeks, sometimes arriving only after a significant gap. Newspapers, if they arrive at all, often reach the community a full week behind schedule, leaving residents somewhat out of the loop compared to the rest of the world. Some residents are fortunate enough to tune into radio stations broadcast from faraway places like South Africa or the United Kingdom, provided the signal is strong enough. When reception is good, they sometimes record these broadcasts on tape or other media to share the latest news with neighbors or friends, ensuring that information keeps flowing despite the limitations. Official documents such as passports or civil registration papers are handled with great care and processed exclusively by British officials stationed on St. Helena. This procedure involves meticulous handwritten forms which are then sent via the next scheduled ship's voyage. The entire process can take several months from start to finish, requiring patience and careful planning. The arrival of each ship is a highly anticipated event, announced several days in advance, so the community can prepare for unloading and distribution of supplies. These ships often carry essential goods, rare food items, and news from relatives abroad. The entire community works together during this time, coordinating efforts to ensure that the process is swift and organized, recognizing the importance of these shipments for their daily lives. Despite the slow and fragile nature of communication with the outside world, the islanders do everything within their power to maintain contact and stay informed, demonstrating resilience and ingenuity in the face of isolation. When someone falls ill in what might be considered the most remote inhabited place on the planet, the local medical center becomes their only hope. Situated at the very heart of Georgetown Village, the medical facility functions as a multi-purpose hub, serving as a clinic, hospital, and pharmacy all in one. It is a small but vital establishment, staffed by a general practitioner, supported by one or two assistant physicians, and occasionally supplemented by a visiting dentist on short-term contracts. The center's design includes a reception area where patients are greeted, a modest observation room for basic assessments, an emergency department equipped to handle urgent cases, and a storage area stocked with medicinal supplies. The medical center boasts basic X-ray equipment sourced from South Africa, which, although limited in capability, allows for essential imaging. These devices are regularly tested to ensure safety and functionality. Each week, the clinic schedules appointments for a wide range of health concerns, from routine checkups and common colds to digestive problems, muscle pains, and ongoing treatments for chronic conditions. The center also performs simple deliveries, often conducted right in the facility, but in cases where complications arise, patients must be evacuated to a larger hospital elsewhere. Vaccination campaigns are regularly carried out to protect the community from preventable diseases, alongside testing and issuing prescriptions. Because supplies are limited due to the island's remote location, medicines are dispensed under strict control, with medications such as antibiotics, pain relievers, vitamins, antihistamines, and ointments carefully distributed only according to the doctor's precise prescriptions. When supplies run out, requests are sent via the next ship, which can take several weeks to arrive, underscoring the importance of judicious use of each dose. Every medication prescribed is chosen with great care, following thorough examinations to ensure nothing is wasted. The dental services available are equally straightforward but essential. The dentist's small treatment room is equipped with a basic set of instruments used for treating cavities, extracting teeth, and performing routine cleanings. When specialist care is unavailable, local staff are trained to provide emergency assistance or to temporarily alleviate pain, ensuring that residents are not left helpless. Preventive dental care, such as regular cleanings, can be scheduled by appointment, but in urgent cases, the center is prepared with emergency equipment, stretchers, oxygen supplies, intravenous drips, a defibrillator, and first aid kits to stabilize patients until they can be evacuated if necessary. For more serious injuries or illnesses that cannot be managed locally, evacuation is coordinated through radio or satellite communication links with the South African Medical Service. This ensures that even in the most critical situations, help can be arranged swiftly. Despite the many challenges posed by their remote environment, the island's residents and healthcare providers work tirelessly to ensure that no one is left without aid, constantly adapting to their circumstances with resilience and resourcefulness. Depending on the circumstances, arrangements can be made to evacuate someone from Tristan by boat or even helicopter, often coming from different parts of the Atlantic. Such medical evacuations are complex endeavors that involve the entire community's cooperation and effort. When the need arises, a chaperone is carefully chosen to accompany the patient, ensuring their safety and comfort throughout the journey. The families on the island work collectively, pooling their resources and efforts to raise the necessary funds to cover the often considerable expenses associated with these emergency evacuations. In some cases, these costs are alleviated by financial support from the United Kingdom government or through specialized insurance policies designed to handle such emergencies, providing a crucial safety net for the residents. The people of Tristan are well prepared in terms of basic medical knowledge. They are trained in first aid, enabling them to respond effectively to injuries and health issues as they occur. They know how to treat wounds, stop bleeding, apply bandages, and administer simple medications to stabilize patients until further help can be obtained. Some residents volunteer their time and skills to assist with healthcare-related activities, participating in routine checkups and administering vaccinations, which are vital in preventing the spread of illness on the island. The medical center on Tristan is maintained with meticulous care. It is cleaned daily to ensure a safe and hygienic environment. Medical instruments are carefully sterilized each day, either through heat sterilization or chemical disinfectants, to prevent infection and ensure that all tools are ready for use at a moment's notice. When treating various illnesses, such as respiratory infections, skin conditions, or other common diseases, medical staff wear appropriate protective gear, including gloves, masks, and gowns, to safeguard both patients and themselves. Every week, a thorough inventory check is conducted to monitor supplies and ensure that essential medicines and materials are adequately stocked. During outbreaks of contagious illnesses such as influenza, conjunctivitis, or ear infections, the entire community is promptly notified to prevent further transmission. Sick children are advised to stay home from school or community gatherings to limit the spread of infection. Older residents suffering from chronic conditions like high blood pressure or diabetes receive special attention and regular monitoring. For those who are unable to visit the medical center, healthcare workers make home visits, bringing care directly to their doorsteps, which is especially important given the island's remote location. The medical center is truly a cornerstone of daily life on Tristan, serving as a vital institution that sustains the health and well-being of its inhabitants. Without access to large hospitals, the community's health relies heavily on the skills of local healthcare providers, the availability of supplies, and the collective efforts of everyone involved. The residents make the most of limited resources, demonstrating resilience and ingenuity in maintaining their health. Meanwhile, life on the island of Tristan da Cunha revolves around simple, self-sufficient practices, such as baking homemade bread, fishing, and bartering. These activities form the backbone of daily existence, with each dish crafted from locally sourced ingredients or provisions brought in by cargo ships from South Africa. The island's typical diet features fresh fish, lamb or beef, potatoes, bread baked in traditional country ovens, and preserved foods, canned or dried, that are carefully stored to last through periods when fresh supplies are scarce. Fresh vegetables are a rarity, their availability dictated by seasonal weather patterns and the limited growing conditions. When weather permits, residents cultivate small plots of onions, cabbage, and carrots, which are carefully tended with manual labor and basic tools, as no machinery or chemical fertilizers are used. Fishing remains a central activity, with men heading out to sea to catch tuna, amaranth, and various other fish species. The catch is processed in different ways. Some is frozen to preserve it for later use, some is boiled or cooked fresh. A portion of the fish is kept for immediate consumption in the community, while some is prepared for export to other markets. Once returned, the fish is cleaned thoroughly and then cooked in various ways: fried, baked, or incorporated into hearty soups. To prepare for times when the sea might be unkind or boats fail to return, residents always set aside a small reserve, salting some of the catch as a safeguard against future shortages. Potatoes are grown communally in shared plots, with each family responsible for tending their own section. Seed potatoes are carefully saved from year to year, ensuring a sustainable and reliable harvest for future seasons. The volcanic soil of the island proves fertile, producing good crops despite the minimal use of modern farming technology. Watering and cultivation are carried out manually using simple tools, reflecting a sustainable, low-impact approach to agriculture. Livestock, including cattle and sheep, graze freely across the island's open spaces, providing residents with a steady supply of milk, meat, and wool. When a family needs meat, they select an animal and slaughter it collectively, sharing the meat among themselves and storing it in communal freezers to ensure a supply during lean times. Nothing goes to waste, bones are used for making broths, and the carcass is utilized fully. Chickens are raised for their eggs. Some families on the island keep ducks, which they feed on leftover scraps of food and whatever forage they can find in the surrounding fields. These ducks are an essential part of their daily life, providing both companionship and a source of fresh eggs or meat when needed. The bread they eat is baked in a humble village bakery, where a traditional wood-fired oven turns simple ingredients into warm, golden brown loaves, round buns, and modest cookies. The flour used in baking is delivered in large sacks from the mainland, a precious commodity that is carefully stored and rationed. When available, residents sometimes add butter or sugar to their baked goods, transforming humble ingredients into pies or sweet treats. Treasured moments of indulgence amid everyday routines. Every ingredient in their cooking is used with care and respect, with nothing wasted, and everything either shared with neighbors, exchanged, or saved for future use. In this community, eating is more than mere sustenance. It is a tradition woven into the fabric of life, shaped by the island's limited resources and the need to make do with what can be obtained from outside sources. At Tristan da Cunha, culinary traditions are diligently handed down through generations, preserved with reverence and care. Recipes are passed from parent to child, maintaining a cultural continuity that sustains their identity. The islanders stockpile canned and dried goods, rice, noodles, powdered milk, jams, tuna, butter, biscuits, and a variety of spices. Enough to last for a full month, ensuring survival during the long intervals when ships do not arrive. Fresh fruit, such as apples, oranges, or bananas, is a rare delight, arriving only sporadically in refrigerated trucks, which then prompt immediate distribution among the community. The arrival of such treats is a special event, eagerly shared and enjoyed by all. Blackberry bushes grow wild across the island, their dark berries carefully gathered to make juice and jam, adding a touch of sweetness to their modest pantry. Local residents also collect wild herbs, which they steep into simple teas or medicinal infusions, harnessing nature's modest pharmacy to maintain health. Water is a precious resource carefully collected from rain in large containers and filtered for safe drinking. Each household has its own rainwater collection system, and during periods of drought, strict restrictions are enforced. Water is reserved strictly for drinking, cooking, and washing food, and on rainy days, all connections are inspected meticulously for leaks, ensuring no precious drops are wasted. Cooking is typically carried out on gas stoves or traditional wood-burning stoves, each home reflecting its own style and personality. Despite these differences, the staples of their diet remain consistent. Hearty stews, nourishing soups, baked meats, fried fish, boiled potatoes, and homemade meat pies. Simple dishes crafted from whatever ingredients are available. During special occasions or holidays, more elaborate and refined dishes are prepared, adding a touch of festivity and celebration to their humble cuisine. All food is organized with the utmost care, ensuring that supplies last until the next ship's arrival. Many products are frozen, dried, salted, or shared among neighbors, creating a communal system of resource management that leaves nothing to waste. Nothing is discarded without purpose. Instead, every scrap is valued and repurposed. Living on Tristan da Cunha means embracing a lifestyle of careful planning, deep respect for traditions, and mutual cooperation, all essential for survival in such a remote environment. The only village on the island, Georgetown, is a small but vibrant community where every house preserves a piece of history and serves a specific function. Located on the northern coast, close to the sea and sheltered by gentle hills, the village brings together all the island's families within a compact, approachable space. The houses are spaced apart, connected by unpaved dirt roads and modest low fences, emphasizing simplicity and practicality. There are no towering buildings, no modern architectural marvels, only straightforward single-story dwellings constructed from concrete blocks and cement, topped with sloping tin roofs that reflect the island's utilitarian aesthetic. Some homes were built by the residents themselves, crafted with their own hands, while others have been renovated over the years with the assistance of visiting specialists, blending local ingenuity with external expertise. Each family lives in its own house, which often includes a garden or vegetable patch and a small chicken coop, providing fresh produce and eggs. These modest homes serve as both shelters and small farms, embodying a self-sufficient spirit rooted in tradition and necessity. The entire village exudes an air of quiet resilience, where every building, every garden, and every fence emphasizes the community's focus on sustainability, resourcefulness, and a shared commitment to life in this remote and isolated corner of the world. The windows of the homes are fitted with sturdy shutters designed to protect against the relentless force of the wind that constantly sweeps across the island. The doors have been reinforced as well, ensuring they can withstand the gusts that are a daily, if not hourly, occurrence. The village itself is quite unique in its layout. There are no official street names or numbered avenues. Instead, the roads are identified by their proximity to key landmarks such as the local churches, the schoolhouse, the medical clinic, or the community hall. These designations serve as navigational aids for residents and visitors alike, providing a simple yet effective way to locate different parts of the village. The roads are paved with compacted gravel, a practical choice given the island's remote location and limited resources. After heavy rains, it's common for neighbors to gather together, armed with shovels and rakes, to smooth out and level the muddy, uneven surfaces, restoring order and safety to the pathways. While the village lacks sidewalks and streetlights, some houses are equipped with outdoor lighting fixtures, powered by small generators that run intermittently. These lights provide limited illumination during the evening hours, enough to see by but not enough to light the entire street. All essential public facilities are conveniently located within walking distance from most homes, ensuring that residents can reach them without the need for transportation. These include St. Mary's Anglican Church, the local school, the medical clinic, the administrative office, a bakery, a communal hall used for gatherings and events, and a supply depot that holds provisions for the community. Nearby, there is also a football field, a designated playing pitch, and an open space used for sports, social gatherings, and community meetings, offering recreational opportunities for people of all ages. Electricity on the island is generated by small generators housed in a barn close to the village. These generators operate on a shift system to conserve fuel, which is a precious resource in this remote environment. Power is available only during specific hours each day, and its use is carefully regulated to ensure everyone has access. Every household has basic electrical outlets and a few essential appliances, allowing residents to perform daily tasks with modern convenience. For cooking, residents rely on gas cylinders that are distributed based on availability, and water is collected in tanks installed on rooftops. During rainfall, water is naturally collected into these tanks, and gravity ensures a steady flow of water into the household plumbing. Some homes are fitted with filters to purify drinking water, and in times of need, residents can access shared cisterns that store collected rainwater. During periods of drought, water use is strictly limited, especially for non-essential activities, to ensure sufficient supplies for everyone. Each house includes a backyard space used for multiple purposes, storing firewood for cooking and heating, keeping tools and spare parts, recycling recyclable materials, and storing other essential supplies. The village has no municipal waste collection service, so every family is responsible for managing their trash. Residents burn or bury their waste, sorting out metal objects and byliners, traditional woven items, separately. If space permits, these metal objects and byliners are stored temporarily in designated reserve vessels awaiting disposal or reuse. The island operates without a formal government structure. There is no mayor, no police force, and no codified laws. Instead, daily life is organized through collective discussion and consensus. When urgent issues or communal decisions arise, open meetings are held at the Georgetown Community Hall, a central gathering place where all residents are encouraged to participate. Each family designates a representative to attend these meetings, but anyone from the community can speak or contribute. Notices about upcoming meetings are announced in advance to ensure broad participation. Topics discussed range widely, from planning road repairs and coordinating the distribution of supplies to organizing emergency responses and preparing for incoming ships. Each meeting typically begins with a review of current affairs, updates, and community announcements. Decisions are made by a simple majority vote, expressed through raising hands, fostering a sense of shared responsibility and cooperation. The village's administrative functions are carried out by an elected community leader, known as the village administrator. This individual handles practical tasks such as maintaining records, overseeing public works projects, and acting as the official liaison with the British authorities in the South Atlantic. The administrator's role is temporary, with elections held regularly to ensure fresh leadership. Daily responsibilities within the community are divided among various groups and individuals, each tasked with specific functions. For example, one team manages the bakery, ensuring a steady supply of bread, while another is responsible for maintaining the electrical system. Some residents oversee water tanks, monitoring their use and ensuring they are functioning properly. Others care for the school, the warehouse, or the football field, each with designated managers to coordinate activities. Larger projects, such as repairing roads, cleaning communal areas, or reinforcing buildings, are tackled collectively. These tasks are organized into shifts, with available adults coming together to complete the work efficiently and safely, embodying the community's spirit of mutual assistance and shared effort. In Tristan da Cunha, nobody receives a paycheck for their labor. Instead, the entire social fabric relies fundamentally on cooperation and mutual support. The community functions seamlessly because each individual understands their role and willingly participates in the collective effort. Throughout the village, schedules and appointments are carefully posted on boards that are updated every week, ensuring everyone stays informed about ongoing tasks and responsibilities. These notices specify precisely who is responsible for each duty, what tools or materials are needed to complete the work, and approximately how long each task should take. If someone finds themselves unable to fulfill a particular obligation, their neighbor steps in without hesitation, maintaining the harmony and efficiency of daily life. This system of mutual reliance is well known to all residents, who have grown accustomed to this routine and understand its importance. Participation in community affairs, whether in work or social events, is woven into the very fabric of daily life on Tristan da Cunha, fostering a strong sense of unity and shared purpose. Religion, faith, celebrations and communal gatherings are not separate from life here. Instead, they are deeply embedded in every aspect of everyday existence. The spiritual life of the islanders is vibrant and influential, shaping their values, customs, and interactions. The predominant faith practiced by most residents is Anglican Christianity, a tradition brought here by the first British settlers and carefully preserved through generations. Central to the community's spiritual and social life is St. Mary's Church, which stands prominently in the very heart of Georgetown, serving as one of the most significant and cherished buildings on the island. Each week, the church hosts services led by a local resident who serves as the community's pastor, guiding the congregation through prayers, hymns, and readings. Occasionally, clergy members from St. Helena or even Great Britain visit the island to officiate at special ceremonies or major religious festivals, adding a touch of wider ecclesiastical connection to the local traditions. On Sunday mornings, families gather in St. Mary's Church to participate in the communal act of worship. The service typically involves scripture readings, heartfelt hymns sung with devotion, and prayers that unite everyone in shared faith. Following the spiritual part of the gathering, there are often discussions, announcements, and community notices that keep the residents informed and connected. The religious calendar is marked by important holidays such as Christmas, Easter, Pentecost, and All Saints' Day, each celebrated with distinctive customs and elaborate decorations. During these festivals, the church is transformed into a space of beauty and reverence, adorned with handmade ornaments, fragrant branches, colorful flowers, bright fabrics, and children's drawings, all crafted with love and care. Christmas, in particular, is a time of warmth and togetherness. The community comes together in song, singing traditional carols that echo through the village, sharing homemade gifts, and enjoying communal meals. The dishes served are simple yet hearty, prepared from whatever ingredients are available: cakes, fruit breads, and various meat or fish dishes, reflecting the resourcefulness and close-knit nature of the community. The church itself becomes a glowing beacon of celebration, decorated with strings of lights, garlands, and handcrafted figures that evoke festive cheer. Holy Week is a solemn time of reflection, with services that contemplate the crucifixion on Good Friday, often accompanied by readings and meditations that deepen the spiritual experience. Easter Sunday marks a joyful celebration, with music, often played on guitars or flutes, filling the air and symbolizing rebirth and renewal. Each celebration is a collective effort. Families contribute to the decorating of the church, making each event truly communal. Baptisms and weddings are held within the sacred walls of St. Mary's, with the building decorated specially to honor these significant milestones. Neighbors gather as witnesses, sharing in the joy and solemnity of these moments, and afterward, the community comes together in the hall for a shared meal, reinforcing the bonds of kinship and fellowship. Since the island does not have a permanent priest, these ceremonies are often conducted by the village leader or an invited official, ensuring that religious rites continue uninterrupted. Births are meticulously recorded both in church registers and in official administrative journals, ensuring that every new life is formally recognized and celebrated. Religion influences daily conduct as well, instilling values of respect, cooperation, and mutual assistance. Elders serve as both spiritual guides and moral exemplars, teaching children prayer, Bible stories, and shared activities that reinforce community traditions and moral values. They pass these teachings from generation to generation through personal example and family customs. When a death occurs, the funeral takes place at the village cemetery, where prayers are recited, words from the pastor are spoken, and songs are sung to honor the departed. Neighbors play an active role, helping to dig the grave and prepare the site, demonstrating their collective support and compassion. Wreaths woven from local plants are carefully laid on the grave, and farewell notes are handwritten, expressing love, remembrance, and respect. Religious education is an integral part of the school curriculum, ensuring that even the youngest residents learn the significance of their faith and traditions. Although attending religious services is not officially mandated, nearly everyone in the community chooses to participate in them, reflecting a deep-seated sense of communal devotion. The church itself stands as a central pillar of the village's life, supported tirelessly by collective efforts from all residents. In a remarkable display of unity and shared responsibility, the entire village joins together to paint, clean, and repair the church, each person contributing their time and skills to maintain this sacred space. For the residents of Tristan da Cunha Island, religion remains much more than a matter of personal faith. It is a fundamental cornerstone that sustains the social fabric of the community. It serves as a vital force that helps preserve harmony among neighbors, honor the memories of those who have passed, and ensure the seamless passage of traditions and values from one generation to the next. Growing up in this close-knit environment, children and adolescents share their formative years within a small, interconnected world. From a young age, they attend the same school, participate in communal events, and celebrate festivals together, forging bonds that often grow stronger as they mature. These early relationships form the foundation of lifelong friendships, and it is not uncommon for friendships between boys and girls to blossom into romantic partnerships during adolescence. Within such an intimate community, everyone is keenly aware of each other's lives. When a young couple begins to spend more time together, it quickly becomes noticeable to all. Families observe these developing relationships closely, and if they perceive them as respectful, sincere, and cooperative, they tend to support and nurture them. While there are no rigid, formal rules governing courtship, respectful conduct is always expected from young people as they navigate their relationships. Courting involves simple acts of affection, visiting each other's homes, strolling through the village, helping with daily chores, or celebrating holidays side by side. Despite the tenderness of these connections, expressions of affection tend to be modest and understated, reflecting the community's values of restraint and sincerity. The seriousness of young lovers' intentions is often demonstrated by the fact that both families accept their relationship without demands for monetary dowries or elaborate ceremonies, emphasizing mutual respect and genuine commitment. When young couples decide to unite their lives, they first discuss marriage privately, often among themselves, before formally announcing their intentions to the entire community. This approach underscores the importance of shared understanding and consensus. Weddings are celebrated within the village's Anglican church, a modest yet beautifully decorated space adorned with flowers, fabrics, and artwork created by local artisans and neighbors. The families prepare special dishes, delicious traditional foods, and host a communal reception in the village hall, turning the celebration into a lively gathering of friends and relatives. The wedding ceremony itself is conducted by a respected resident of the village or, occasionally, a visiting priest if one is available. Following the ceremony, everyone gathers for a communal meal where each family contributes something special: meat, bread, sweets, or fish to the feast. Long tables are arranged, often illuminated by string lights if electricity is available, creating a warm and inviting atmosphere. The festivities extend into the night, filled with singing, dancing, and music, played on simple instruments as the entire community joins in the jubilant celebration. These joyous occasions often continue until late into the evening, strengthening communal bonds and reinforcing shared traditions. Most newlyweds move into homes allocated by the community, designed to accommodate their new life together. If suitable housing is not immediately available, they remain with their parents while new dwellings are constructed. The homes are built collaboratively by groups of residents, often utilizing materials salvaged from previous cargo ships or repurposed from older structures, reflecting resourcefulness and a spirit of recycling that characterizes village life. When a resident of Tristan da Cunha passes away, the entire community unites in grief and support. News of a death is conveyed personally without the aid of modern digital communication. Neighbors inform each other by visiting in person, knocking on doors, or calling out from the road, ensuring that no one is left uninformed. The body of the deceased is then transported to a local medical center where trained staff conduct a basic examination, record vital data, and coordinate with community authorities. Notably, the village does not have a morgue. Instead, the community's response is immediate and personal, emphasizing the importance of close relationships and direct communication in their social fabric. For these solemn occasions, a specially designated room is prepared, one that is well ventilated to ensure a respectful and comfortable environment. It is stocked with the appropriate cleaning supplies to maintain cleanliness and dignity throughout the process. When the time comes to arrange a funeral, the community acts swiftly without unnecessary delay, recognizing the importance of honoring the departed as soon as possible. The exact timing of the funeral is determined collectively by the community, reflecting their shared customs and respect for the individual's life. All those who wish to pay their respects gather at the appointed location, whether it be a church, the cemetery, or another designated site where the community's unity is palpable. The graves are excavated by hand, a labor-intensive task that involves digging with shovels and spades, often by family members, friends, and other residents who work together in organized shifts. This communal effort ensures that no detail is overlooked and that the burial site is prepared with care and reverence. The cemetery itself is maintained throughout the entire year, kept in good condition so that it remains ready for such moments of mourning and remembrance whenever they occur. Coffins are crafted from salvaged or recycled wood, emphasizing resourcefulness and respect for the environment. Some families, foreseeing the need, store the necessary materials such as wood, nails, and fabric in advance, ensuring that they are prepared for an immediate funeral if required. The assembly of the coffin is a simple yet meaningful process, carried out with basic tools, nails, a saw, and a hammer. The interior of the coffin is lined with clean, fresh fabric, often chosen for its simplicity and dignity, providing a respectful resting place for the departed. On top of each grave, a modest cross is placed, bearing the name of the deceased, along with their date of birth and date of death, serving as a humble marker of their life and passing. The funeral service itself may take place either in the local village church or directly at the cemetery, depending on the circumstances and the wishes of the family. The ceremony is marked by the reading of a passage from the Bible, a prayer offered in solemn reverence, and the singing of a familiar hymn that resonates with hope and remembrance. Sometimes the music may include the gentle sound of a guitar or the soft, rhythmic drumming of dripping rain, adding a natural, soothing backdrop to the proceedings. If a priest is available, he leads the service, guiding the community through prayers and reflections. In the absence of clergy, a respected neighbor steps forward to perform the rites, embodying the community's collective compassion and respect. As the ceremony unfolds, the community gathers in quiet reflection around the grave. Some bring wildflowers gathered that very day, their simple beauty symbolizing life's fleeting nature. Others lay down cards or photographs, mementos that serve as tangible reminders of the person being mourned. The closest relatives stand at the forefront, visibly affected yet composed, sharing in their grief through silent gestures of farewell. The entire event is devoid of elaborate speeches or complex rituals. Instead, it is characterized by straightforward, heartfelt acts of mourning that embody the islanders' deep reverence for life, their acceptance of loss, and the enduring strength of their communal bonds. For those who choose to remain on Tristan da Cunha, the process is strict and carefully regulated. The island's remote location, unpredictable weather patterns, and infrequent transportation mean that the community remains largely isolated from the outside world. As a result, tourism remains minimal and undeveloped, preserving the island's tranquility and privacy. When a boat approaches, carrying visitors from afar, the community receives a radio message alerting them of the impending arrival. In response, a meeting is organized well in advance, with meticulous care taken to prepare for the visitors' reception. Every new arrival is accompanied by a designated guide, an experienced local resident who explains the community's customs, rules, and ways of life. These guides answer questions, ensuring that visitors understand the importance of respecting the island's privacy and traditions. Access to the island is strictly limited to clearly marked areas, such as the village of Georgetown, which includes a port, a school, a medical center, and several nearby trails for exploration. Farmlands and private properties remain off-limits, preserving the island's serenity and the privacy of its inhabitants. The community strikes a friendly yet vigilant tone when interacting with visitors. Encounters are brief, respectful, and often involve a polite exchange of information, small tokens, or gifts. Visitors may bring books, clothing, or tools which are graciously received in return with bread, local handicrafts, or fresh seafood. Photography and video recording are strictly prohibited unless explicit permission has been granted beforehand. Anyone wishing to film must submit their request in advance, and cameras may be inspected at the end of the day if necessary to ensure that privacy is maintained. The local authorities carefully review all materials to protect the community's privacy and to determine what images can be shared publicly and what must remain confidential. Temporary workers, such as technicians, doctors, their involvement in the daily life of the village is confined primarily to their designated work responsibilities. Once their assigned tasks are fulfilled, they depart on the next available ship, returning to their own destinations or preparing for the next assignment. For any outsider wishing to remain on Tristan da Cunha Island for an extended period, there exists a meticulous and strictly enforced procedure designed to preserve the community's harmony and integrity. The initial step in this process requires the prospective visitor to submit a comprehensive written statement outlining their intentions and reasons for seeking an extended stay. This document serves as a formal introduction and provides insight into the individual's motives, background, and plans. Following this, a community gathering is convened, bringing together the residents of the island to deliberate on the applicant's suitability. During this meeting, the community members thoroughly discuss the person's history, skills, behavioral traits, and capacity to engage harmoniously with the existing population. This collective decision-making process is characterized by patience and careful consideration. Hasty judgments are never made, and the process often takes several weeks to complete. If, after this thorough review, the community grants approval, the newcomer is assigned to a specific, useful role within the village. Such roles might include working in the bakery, assisting in the local school, contributing to the healthcare system, or serving in various other capacities that support the village's daily functioning. The community then provides the newcomer with detailed instructions on how to operate the water supply system, where to procure necessary supplies, what rules must be followed, and whom to approach if assistance is needed. This orientation period is crucial as it helps integrate the newcomer into the community's routines and expectations. During the ensuing probationary phase, the individual's behavior, work discipline, attitude, and adaptability are closely monitored. Every aspect of their integration is observed to ensure they align with the community's standards. If the person demonstrates the expected qualities and successfully adapts, they are granted permanent housing and become a full-fledged member of the community. Conversely, if they fail to meet these expectations or cause disruptions, their permit to stay is revoked, and they are required to depart on the next vessel leaving the island. The same rigorous procedure is applied to mixed couples. If an islander marries a newcomer and wishes to bring their spouse into the community, the process remains unchanged. The newcomer must undergo the steps of introduction, observation, discussion, and collective approval. Only if the spouse shows signs of adapting well to the community's way of life and values will they be accepted as a full member. Should they fail to integrate or adapt to the community's norms, they are kindly advised to seek a new life elsewhere, outside the island's confines. Tristan da Cunha, the island's protector and guardian of its traditions, is deeply committed to safeguarding her community's unique way of life. Visitors are welcomed with caution and only under strict adherence to the established rules. The community places immense value on maintaining a delicate balance, a measured pace of life, and the distinct character that defines them. Any change or new arrival must be approved collectively, reflecting a consensus rooted in mutual trust. Nothing is altered without the full agreement of the entire group, ensuring that the community's harmony remains unbroken. The isolation of Tristan da Cunha extends beyond its geographical remoteness. It is a deliberate social strategy aimed at preserving the community's social order, which is founded on trust and shared responsibility. Every decision concerning newcomers involves open discussion and collective approval, reinforcing their unity and cohesion. This insular way of life is deeply embedded in the fabric of the community. Nearly all residents share the same surnames, a testament to their long-standing seclusion. The trace of this isolation is woven into their very DNA, making Tristan one of the most secluded and insular populations in the world. All inhabitants are descendants of a small group of original settlers, and for more than 2 centuries there have been virtually no new arrivals. Surnames such as Glass, Green, Hepet, Rogers and Lavarella are passed down through generations, creating a tapestry of familial continuity. Most adults can trace their lineage back to the same ancestors, forming a close-knit, interrelated community. Over time, marriages between distant relatives became inevitable, leading to a limited gene pool. This genetic bottleneck has resulted in recurring physical features among many residents and has contributed to certain health issues that are more prevalent within the population. Some families exhibit higher incidences of respiratory conditions like asthma, unstable blood pressure, migraines, and food intolerances. Additionally, hereditary ailments such as glaucoma and partial deafness are observed with greater frequency. Long-term medical observations conducted by visiting doctors from abroad confirmed these patterns, revealing a cyclical appearance of certain symptoms every 2 or 3 generations. Medical studies from South Africa and the United Kingdom have identified clear genetic similarities among the residents, further illustrating the community's unique genetic heritage and the consequences of its long-standing isolation. In the course of the 20th century, scientific research teams arrived on Tristan not with the purpose of conducting experimental trials or laboratory investigations, but rather with the community's consent to gather vital medical data. Their goal was to study the health and genetic makeup of the island's inhabitants in order to gain a deeper understanding of how long-term genetic isolation influences human biology. The researchers meticulously examined blood samples, recorded birth histories, and compiled comprehensive records of chronic illnesses, all with the aim of uncovering patterns that might shed light on the effects of living in such a secluded environment. Among the significant discoveries was the notably high prevalence of persistent asthma, which appeared to afflict a large portion of the local population. This condition, while manageable, persisted over time, indicating a strong genetic component linked to the island's unique isolation. Additionally, scientists identified a particular eye disorder that impairs night vision, predominantly affecting older residents. This condition, which gradually hampers the ability to see in low-light conditions, served as another example of how genetic factors manifest over generations within this isolated community. Furthermore, in a small subset of the population, a specific genetic mutation labeled DGI was uncovered. This mutation leads to progressive hearing loss that worsens with age. Though none of these health issues typically interfere with the day-to-day activities of the islanders, they nonetheless require regular medical attention, monitoring, and sometimes ongoing treatment to manage their effects effectively. Despite these health challenges, the majority of the island's inhabitants continue to lead vigorous, active lives. They work diligently, farming the land, fishing in the surrounding waters, and participating fully in the social and cultural life of the village. The community's resilience and adaptability are evident in the way they integrate those with disabilities into daily routines. Special arrangements are made for individuals who face physical limitations. They are often assigned tasks that are less physically demanding, or they are given additional time and support to rest and recover, ensuring everyone remains an integral part of the community fabric. Every birth on Tristan is carefully registered, with detailed genealogical records maintained to prevent repeated marriages between close relatives, a practice that helps preserve genetic diversity within the population. Before young men and women begin to form romantic connections, their families typically consult with elders or health professionals, relying heavily on the collective wisdom accumulated over generations, rather than solely on modern laboratory testing. This community-based approach to marriage and kinship underscores the importance of tradition and shared knowledge in maintaining health and social stability. When an islander marries a visitor from outside the community, it is generally viewed as a positive development, an opportunity to introduce new genetic material and reduce the risk of hereditary health problems. Although such marriages are relatively rare, they often result in the new spouses being related, directly or indirectly, to one of the established local families. This close-knit kinship network helps to sustain the community's genetic integrity, while at the same time minimizing the emergence of serious genetic disorders or life-threatening diseases. Cases of significant health abnormalities or severe hereditary conditions are exceedingly uncommon, thanks to the community's careful record-keeping and the judicious selection of mates. Overall, the health of Tristan's population remains remarkably stable, maintained through an active lifestyle rooted in physical labor, balanced with home-cooked meals that emphasize natural ingredients, and a deep-seated sense of mutual care and responsibility. The island's geographic isolation has played a crucial role in shielding its residents from many infectious diseases that are common elsewhere in the world, making Tristan a living example of how a closed community's genetics can influence health outcomes. Here, families have learned to adapt to their environment's restrictions, meticulously keep accurate records, and make decisions rooted in generations of collective experience. Nothing on Tristan appears to be left to chance or randomness. Every facet of life has been shaped by centuries of coexistence, mutual support, and a collective desire to preserve their distinctive way of living. What binds this community together is not merely its physical remoteness from the outside world, but also a profound respect for time, tradition, and the conscious awareness of life lived in harmony with the accumulated knowledge passed down through countless generations. This legacy of shared history and cultural continuity has fostered a resilient, tightly knit society rooted in stability and mutual understanding. I hope you found today's exploration of Tristan's unique community both enlightening and inspiring. If you enjoyed learning about this extraordinary place, please remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss future stories about fascinating communities around the globe. Your support enables us to continue uncovering and sharing these intriguing narratives. Be sure to watch the next video that appears on your screen. I am confident you will find it equally captivating. And don't forget to leave a comment below telling us which country or community you would like us to explore next. Thank you very much for your time and attention, and I look forward to seeing you again in the next installment.